Okay. Last time we talked, I think I had mentioned what was going on with the R34 project, and there's been a lot of movement on it, even though it kind of doesn't really look like it in the stage that it's at right now. I'm waiting on a couple of pieces, and I'm just going to do a whole video on that car. Namely, what's been going on with the air jack suspension, what's been going on with stripping the undercoating, what our plans are next moving forward, and what all that project is about to evolve into at a pretty rapid pace. So anyways, I'm gonna give this its own video next. In the meantime, I have a bit that I can share on what's going on with the GTST. I finally got caught up on a lot of customer work, and I managed to find some time that I could put into this car. So without further ado, this is kind of what's been going on with this build. Since it migrated off the lift. If you're familiar with the car, great. You'll notice that the engine bay kind of looks the same. There's a couple of small changes here and there. I'll address some of them as quickly and as quickly as I can. I'm not going to sit here and bore you to death. But for those that are new to this car, this is an R32 GTST. It wears GTR FRP fenders. It has a Honda K24 engine, and it runs a BMW DCT transmission. It will be powered by an M-tron KV8. The transmission is controlled by HTG, and Roman from Art of Assembly has done all of the lovely wiring to make sure that all of these things work well and play well together. So I'm just gonna go ahead and skip all the details and just dive right into what it is that I've been working on for those that have kind of kept up on this car through my Instagram and everything else. And if you have any questions, or if there's anything that you would like me to discuss in the future on this car that maybe you feel like I don't address very much, let me know, and I'd be happy to, individually answer or do the best that I can to get you the information needed. So we'll just go ahead and start at the front of the car and then just kind of work our way back a little bit. So the most important part of any track car, regardless of what anybody says, is cooling. And the one thing that makes cooling work its absolute best is ducting. So what I've done here, this car isn't going to run a hood latch or anything conventional. So I went ahead and flat planed a top cooling panel based off of my existing R32 ducting kit loosely. I made custom pieces right here that would allow pass through for my oil lines. Forgive me, there's no bulb seal installed yet. I will not leave it like this. And nestled inside is going to be a Koyo 19 row. This will be for the DCT transmission, and a Koyo 25 row. This will be for the K24 engine oil. I run Koyo coolers because I've always had very good luck with them. I obviously also run Koyo radiators. I believe that it is an extremely good price point and a good bang for the buck. The radiator, as I already mentioned, is a Koyo. I forget what configuration this is. I think it's a Kswap radiator that they sell, but it's an S chassis drop-in radiator. I just made a couple of custom tabs, and I've converted it to Wiggins clamp. There's a few things that aren't installed yet, like this is the upper hose that connects to my header tank. But anyways, all that stuff would be kind of in the way with all the work I'm doing now. So it's currently removed. And then the lower section is hard lined, again, also with Wiggins connections leading into the thermostat housing. The thermostat housing is new. This is a product from TrackTough. TrackTough Rob does some absolutely amazing work for, I would say K20 and K24, but realistically most all Hondas. He offers an extremely in-depth lineup of products. Definitely feel free to check him out. I'll put his Instagram name in the description, but I'm pretty sure you guys all already know about him. Anyways, we did the AN bypass, safety wired it in just as per instructions. You can see, and I left the upper intake manifold off to kind of try to give you a better view. I've made a custom aluminum hardline so that I can retain all heater hoses, some pre-bent silicone pieces that I scrapped out of an RB. And I kept everything going to the rear of the motor as well, as that's how the heater hose circulation should be routed. So anyways, keeping heat is important in a car because I do not want to deal with any sort of condensation or a buildup on the windows, etc. Obviously there's going to be no AC or anything along those lines, but I feel like it's important to retain a heater. It's so simple, it doesn't require much of the car, and it's already there, so why would you get rid of it for no reason? Moving on to the oil cooler system. Right here is actually where I was unfortunately forced to do the remote filter. I don't like this for a couple of reasons. A, I hate this. Like, you don't even have to say it. I am not a huge fan of this. It works, it does its job. The lower tray kind of protects it from everything, so I'm not really super concerned. What I was concerned with was a filter being so close to the wheel. So I went ahead and built a deflection shield. The wheel doesn't get anywhere near it, but should it kick up rocks or debris or anything else, this little oil filter will live to see another day. The reason the lines are routed so funky is because I actually have to tee into my AccuSump, which is placed here, and then down the line from the AccuSump, there had to be a check valve. So once again, I went with Track Tough setup right here for the oil cooler line block, and I do believe it has an MPT provision for additional feeds should you need anything like that. Routes from here, grabs the AccuSump in line, and then flips back to here with the check valve, the oil filter, etc., etc. So that's pretty much the external oil filter system in a nutshell. I just didn't have anywhere nice that I had to place it inside the engine bay. Like, you can kind of tell there's a theme of reliability. Like, the coolers are between the front mount and the radiator, not because that's where they perform best, but because that's where I have to worry about them the least. Rocks, kick up, dirt, debris. If I can avoid those situations, I'm gonna do my best, and this is how I, combat that particular issue or that possibility. The next thing I had to battle was power steering. I've opted for, I believe this 3-pulley setup has been done a couple of ways. I don't think I've seen it done with this clevis right here. Anyways, this is how I opted to do it. So there's a couple things about this. A, I no longer have to have an idler, which would have lived or existed just about where the header tank was. So I wanted to get rid of that possibility. And B, the other problem with it currently that I'm aware of and I am working on fixing is I need to underdrive my alternator. So not only will that kind of give me a little bit more clearance right here between these two belts, it'll eliminate any sort of possible slapping in the future, but it will also stop the alternator from overworking, since obviously we're deleting the LED. Anyways, the reason I brought up the pulley setup is because there is less than no room for a mechanical power steering pump, and I knew that going into the car. So I contacted Brian at MA Motorsports, and under his Alaria Tech lineup, I got their power steering, their MR2 power steering pump bracket and a brand new MR2 power steering pump from them. So I went ahead and mounted it. Again, I could have done it in the wheel well, I could have done anything. I had the room to spare here. I just chose to use this location. So I mounted the bracket here. I salvaged another silicon line out of the RB26, like the silicon heater hose kit. Those are great to just have around because obviously they are multi-purpose. And I went ahead and built a catch can that's baffled inside with one of my vented caps on the top. So hopefully everything should work well. I think the only thing I'm missing currently is I'm waiting on some banjos to show up for my rack, and then I can go ahead and plumb the return and the high pressure feed to the steering rack. Moving back, you'll also see that there is a brush finish catch can here. This is very comparable to my old R32 ABS location catch can that's been available for quite some time. However, I've gone through and I am actually starting to redesign it. You'll notice that the bottom half is currently plastic, and that is because it's a representation of a billet sump that this can will incorporate moving forward. So there will be its own removable sump system. It's going to be a 3-stage AOS, and yeah, I'm excited to show you more details and information on this, but I'm happy to run it on my track car because, once again, I'm a huge fan of keeping all of my shelf-offered parts on my cars so that it's proven, you know that I stand behind them, I use them, I believe in them, because if I don't run them on my own stuff, what's the point? And I guess same as the other side, we'll just start from the front of the car underneath, and I'll just kind of show you some of the stuff that I've done since y'all have possibly last seen it, and just go from there. This is the old Ferrari front splitter that I had pulled off of my 32 GTR. It transplanted onto this car just fine. It's GTR front end, so it was simple, just bolted right back up. I just need to make a new bracket for the rear wheel drive front subframe, as it differs largely from the B&R 32. I have left this stock in plastic, not on purpose, only because I just haven't had time to change it. I've got a DomiWorks billet pan. I need to do filters, I need to do service, I need to do oil, yada yada. I figured that was gonna be one of the last steps that I did. On my downpipe, I went ahead and welded on a couple of extensions. You can see that it's been previously built, and I've obviously opted for header shield heat treatment, but everything from here back is new, kind of quick and dirty additions, as this thing is going to be loud and obviously needs an exhaust. Wedged a wideband up in there. Thank God I was able to find room for that, because that was kind of getting terrifying. And then I welded up a quick 3.5-inch titanium exhaust system. No frills, no polishing, no super clean finish. I just kind of wanted to get it done. And I opted for a Tycon 17-inch oval muffler in the hopes that this thing is not super loud. So fingers crossed, we'll see what that ends up as. I still have a couple of safety things under here, some things that are concerning. I have an exposed flywheel that I'll get taken care of. But other than that, I think the underside is pretty much getting wrapped up decently good. Here's the, I did some custom fuel line holders with a guy named Krizos Customs. And what he does is he actually asks you what the specs of your lines are. So on mine, obviously you can tell that I've swapped sides and there's no brake line on this side. So I opted for 3 lines. I just said it needs to be large enough to fit 2-gauge battery wire, 8 AN feed, and then 6 AN return. And this is what I got. So it turned out really great. I just nut started the side of this frame rail. I've got these on. I feel a whole lot safer having these all supported instead of just kind of like jankily hanging. And then I just kept the brake line over here because that was its factory configuration. Where it's close to the exhaust, I'll probably just build a heat shield whenever this car is finally ready to start being put through its paces. Anyways, if you weren't already previously aware of, the swap kit is all TF Works. So this is the TF Works DCT transmission mount. It is now built for SNR chassis, hence the holes are slotted on it. This is the one-piece drive shaft that I also got from TF Works. And I think that just about covers the underside. Everything else is still the same. This is the track subframe that I had out of my 32 GTR. It's obviously had HICAS deleted. I just went ahead and welded the new tow arm pockets on. No frills, no anything too crazy. Nismo GT Pro LSD 1.5. And I believe it's geared with a 4.375, so it's likely that that's gonna be going away before anything, but I just figured right now I just want to test the car, make sure it's good. If the gearing is too short, I can change that later. I just need to get this thing running and I want to hear it make some noises, so that's where we're at. And the last thing that we've done on the car is I have opted to go ahead and get some of the panels painted to get the car looking one color. I'm weird, but that's motivational for me. Sometimes when the car just looks really good, you get really excited about the project. So I got my new Regas on this car, ready to go. It runs an 18 by 10.5, 295 square setup. All the fenders, hood, bumper, lip, everything was painted by my buddy Delira. I'll put his Instagram down in the
comments.
Yeah, I'll put it
description.
We'll put it in the description. That's right. Anyways, he's a really good guy. He does great work. He operates out of Dallas, Fort Worth area. So if you need any paint work, big, small, whatever, definitely worth hitting him up. I also just wanted to take a second to say thank you. And I've done this in the past, but I'm going to continue to do it because I'm so close to the end of this project. These guys, Imtron, were insanely awesome to work with. I cannot wait to run this product in this car. I have not forgotten about this project. I'm so sorry it has taken me so long. I am almost most excited about this more than anything. I cannot wait to use this ECU. I have heard nothing but great things. I'm extremely excited. Also, I wanted to say thank you to my boys at TF Works. They are the #1 go-to for parts, supplies, anything you need. Swap kit, almost every single part that I've had to buy on this car, I've gotten through TF Works because those guys are the absolute best to work with. So anyways, I feel like it's very necessary to say thank you to those that help you out along the way, including Art of Assembly, Delira, just All you guys have been absolutely amazing to work with, and I am excited to make this thing make noise. So I'll keep you guys updated, but the next video is going to be about the R34 because we're getting some big movement on it right now, and I'm excited to show you what we've got in store for that. So anyways, thank you for listening to me babble.